welcome back to RelyonNye. Today I'm sitting down with my sister and one of my closest friends, a beautiful force in the modeling world who's worked with brands like Target, MAC Cosmetics, and even graced Project Runway. Today we're unpacking rejection, confidence, and those powerful moments when God's been protecting us. Let's get started. What first got you into modeling? And when did you realize it was something you really wanted to pursue?
So I first got into modeling during college. I was traveling back and forth from Howard University to Morgan State University to join their plus size modeling troupe, Powerhouse Plus.
Period.
At the time when I was an undergrad, there were no plus size models, plus size modeling troupes, groups, organizations, anything like that on my campus. Now I would say that at Howard there's a lot of diversity and inclusion there, and I'm super excited for the students. However, when I was there, my option was to join a troupe at another school. So I was going back and forth, like I said, between Howard and Morgan to start modeling. And from there, I kind of got the basics of it, the fundamentals, started doing local shows. And then from there, I took my talents up north. I realized it was something I really wanted to pursue probably when other people were telling me that I should. Because you know, like when you start doing something for fun, you're like, oh, this is fun, I like doing it. But like if you decide to take it seriously, there are more steps, there are more like strategies and plans that have to go into it. So it took me a little while, I'll probably say like a few years honestly, before I decided to like pursue it seriously. And again, it was because other people were saying like, hey, you're really good at this, you should do this for real, you should take it seriously. So it wasn't until other people that I was either close to or had met like in some sort of proximity that were saying like, hey, you're kind of good, you should do this like for real. So it wasn't until I heard it coming from other people where I decided to take it seriously. And
thank you to those other people, because we would not be where we are right now.
Very true, very true.
So I know modeling is kind of cutthroat there.
And competitive.
Period. So when doors close, how did you change your inner dialogue to keep going?
So like you said, industry is really cutthroat, really competitive. You're gonna get doors closed on you a lot. Like a lot of doors will close before a window opens. A tiny little slither of a window will open for an opportunity. So it's just something you have to prepare yourself for. And I will say in the beginning, it was difficult for me. I'm very much a people pleaser. I'm a perfectionist. So hearing so many no's definitely like starts to eat away at your, your confidence, your tenacity. But you have to reposition yourself and change your mindset. Like you said, change your inner dialogue to think this job wasn't the job for me, or I'm just not what they're looking for right now. You're not gonna book every job. You're not gonna be in every booking, every casting. Like, yeah, it's just something that you kind of have to come to understand as you grow. It's nice to have that mindset going in because you're already like under the impression of what's gonna happen. But yeah, a lot of no's before you can start to get some yeses. And even after you start getting some yeses, you start getting some more no's. So it takes a really strong mental state and like self-perseverance to continue with pursuing a career in the fashion industry, especially from the model standpoint.
And I love that too. Like, you may not be fit for their vision at that time. That is so important. Like, it's so many people that are beautiful and just exude like greatness, but like at that time, am I looking for this particular image? Am I looking for even this particular light to shine in this way at that time? How did those moments shift your confidence or your relationship with God?
Okay, so the goal is for it to not shift your confidence, right? I don't want to come off and like, I don't want my answer to seem like, oh, I'm this perfect, unbothered person, because that's not true at all. That's not true at all. Let it shift you in a way where you're like, okay, I'll make the appropriate changes and then try again. I don't believe that anything for you will miss you. I feel like people say that a lot, but unless you truly feel like that, like, keep saying it to yourself, because those opportunities that are for you will make it to you on time.
God know what he doing.
Exactly.
What's one moment of rejection in modeling that really hurt, but later you realized it was protection?
So I've been in situations where I've gotten rejected and it did really hurt, but I don't necessarily know for sure that it was protection, if that makes sense. Okay. You know what I mean? Because
that's real.
I didn't like hear anything about it. Nothing bad happened. So I can't necessarily say it was protection, but it made me like a better person. It made me a stronger person because I really wanted this job, but I didn't get it. And I kind of like, you know, tucked it in my pocket and like kept it moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe the protection would be becoming stronger. I don't know, maybe something like that.
Listen, I can answer this question for you actually, because as long as like I've known you, you've had like this like drive that is just like insane. And it's just like, I feel like every no has literally propelled you, prepared you, and like, I don't know, the confidence that you exude now wasn't what you had when I first met you.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean?
It wasn't what I had 3 years ago. It wasn't what I had 4 years ago.
You know?
It's definitely one of those things that like doesn't happen overnight. I haven't always been this sure of myself. You know what I mean? It took a lot of trial and error, I guess I would say, and ultimately like becoming comfortable like with who you are and knowing. So I think a lot of that rejection kind of like shapes you into the person that you are, because you kind of know like, oh, let that roll off your back. Oh, let that roll off your back. You know what I mean? So it definitely helps you propel and helps you like shape your character.
We love that. We love that for sure. So I definitely connect with that. It's oftentimes that we go through different periods where I feel like we don't know what's going on, where we do feel that hurt. And it's just like, in the hindsight, we have to know that God is protecting us. We have to know that God is with us. And so it's just like, what do you hold on to in those moments? I typically try to hold on to, there's a verse in Psalm where it's basically like, he's close to the brokenhearted and save those who are crushed in spirit. It's another verse in Jeremiah where it talks about like him knowing the plans that he has for you, and his plans not to harm you but to give you a future. Like, those are the things I hold on to. Those are the things that are going to uplift me. Those are the things that are going to keep me in sync and in line with his plans, and not let me go off on a tangent like, what was me, like go off on this tangent like I'm not good enough, because that's not true. Like, it's just not your time, baby. And sometimes we have to have those type of conversations with ourselves and with God. And I could count like plenty of times I've gotten rejected. I know a couple of times, like when I was in a job search, I'm submitting all these resumes, and it's just like time after time, it's like, oh, you're eligible. I'm like, ooh, we get somewhere, not referred. Like, sometimes it just blatantly says ineligible. In those moments, I'm like, God, like, what's happening? Like, we need to move on this, and we need to move fast. Like, what's going on? But I knew that I was looking for that one yes. And I think that's something that keeps me grounded and keeps me going, because if it's a no here, I guarantee you that yes is going to be 10 times better than what you thought you were going to get out of that opportunity. How do you maintain confidence while dealing with the pressure to constantly be validated, especially in front of cameras or online?
It doesn't matter about like everything else on the outside. Like, all that matters, where your confidence comes from, is how you feel about yourself. Outside sources, outside validation, it doesn't really matter unless it's like coming from a job or somebody that is putting you in a position to be better. You know what I mean? Because like, you can get criticism from all types of places, but what is that criticism doing for you? Why is that criticism happening? It just depends. But like, on a like parasocial aspect, like between peers and friends and acquaintances and things like that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what people think. I know it's easier said than done, but like, you were put here to do what you were destined to do. And what other people think about that, or what other people's like opinions are about that, don't really directly affect you. They might affect what people think about you, but they shouldn't affect who you are at the core of who you are, because there's a reason why you are who you are. You were given these gifts, you were given these opportunities,
period.
So you kind of just like, it's just something you have to learn over time to like get your validation from within and from above and from above and from above,
period. And above.
And above.
Thank you, Lord.
Hallelujah.
How has your definition of beauty evolved over time?
Okay, what's our time frame? Are we talking the last 5 years? Are we talking about the last 10 years? Like, what's your...
We talking about where it hit the heart. We're gonna go back to like middle school.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because life wasn't easy as a kid. Life was not, having a social life was not easy.
For real.
It was not easy as a kid.
Not easy here right now either. But especially then.
So I guess I would say, like, for me personally, I always thought that I had a really great personality. I've always thought I was really funny. I always thought I was really intelligent. I wanted to be the center of attention. I want to be on stage. I want to be doing everything. But after a while, like, I kind of started to internalize what the world deemed like appropriate for those types of like personalities.
Yeah.
And after a while, I started to like realize that I didn't quite look like what people with those like personality traits and things would have, or at least from the outside noise, you know, what people thought. So I kind of like started to diminish that light inside of myself, like especially around middle school, like, you know, all your like, because you know you'll have friends, like you'll make friends with the cute girls, the little skinny girls, the little skinny, you know, thin girls that the boys like, and you know you'll see them start getting attention and stuff, and you just wondering like, oh, I just must be anything. And that's what you kind of start to internalize, because you're seeking outside validation from these outside sources. Mind you, we're like 11 and 12 years old, so we don't quite understand or know what's happening. But these are the things that we're experiencing. And then you carry that for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And for me, it was until I got to high school, I would say maybe 10th, 11th grade, where you're like, oh, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. Cause I have a great personality. Like, and this isn't from like a romantic like aspect or anything like that. It's just like, just in general, like the people you attract, the places you end up, like your circle of friends, like you all want it to be like some sort of common interest. And it takes a little bit, like, so I guess to answer your question, I guess over time it's changed from me thinking that I was like the ideal beauty to not thinking that I was beautiful, to like, oh yeah, I'm beautiful, but maybe to only certain people, and then to like, oh, I'm beautiful no matter who thinks I'm beautiful, because I think I'm beautiful.
Period.
And I feel like from there it kind of gets better and better. You know, like your beautiful turns into gorgeous, your gorgeous turns into sexy, your sexy is like, you know, it all comes from the same place, that like internal validation and internal like confidence level.
Yeah. And I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that so much, because I'm like, for some reason, I feel like in middle school back then, I feel like I felt like I always equated beauty with like over sexualization. And it's just like, as I got older, I was just like, oh,
attention from boys,
you know, that's a little much. You know, that's not how it's supposed to be all the time. Like hormones come into play. I'm like, and like they go crazy at that age, and it's not their fault, but it is, you know, it's a weird time. But it's just like,
I also feel like I was kind of green, what they say, like,
oh yeah, we aunties, we are aunties.
So like I was kind of like sheltered growing up and green, as the kids would say, and so there would be instances where like I find myself in like an awkward situation, and like all the other kids around me like know what's going on, but I don't, and so I'm just kind of like happy to be there. And then later on I'm realizing like, oh, they were talking about you. You know what I mean?
Beauty is definitely one of those things, like Sean said earlier, that you have to define within yourself. I feel like just as you have to shift your mindset from, you know, going from all those no's to like looking forward to that yes, I feel like that's the same journey that you have to have with beauty as well. Like, just because your beauty at one stage was one thing doesn't mean that it has to stay there for the rest of the time. Just because you devalued yourself because you thought that that was something that people were doing around you, X, Y, and Z, it doesn't mean you have to carry that with you the whole entire time. It means that you have to realize that there's something going on in your mind that's making you think these things, or that you are convincing yourself to think these things. And it's just like, you have to understand that that's not reality. Beauty isn't about how you look, it's how your heart shows up. It's confidence, kindness, and grace all working together, even when life tests you. How has faith influenced the way you view your body and self-image?
I have this drive and this desire to accomplish something. And I don't think that drive and desire would be placed in my heart if I wasn't destined to fulfill that goal. My faith is what propels me through these different obstacles and situations in life to get further to that goal. And without that faith, it's kind of like I'm just, you know, out here in the dark with no flashlight. But using the faith instilled in me to reach the goals and the aspirations and the desires and the passions that I also have in me, it kind of like works hand in hand. Because I don't think it would be placed in me if I didn't have the faith to see it through. Yeah, like push forward. So I think those tie in together like that.
If you could tell your younger self one thing about self-love and faith, what would it be?
One thing?
Let's go. Line them up.
No, okay, one thing. Don't let outside like influences affect the way that you see yourself. Especially as a young girl, I feel like I did that a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Because like I said earlier, I was seeking that validation from outside sources. But if I could go back in time, or like be a genie, come out the bottle, go to my younger self, I would tell her the things that I kind of tell myself now. Like, those people, their opinions don't matter. What matters is how you feel, your relationship with God, what you see for yourself. That's all that matters. What other people say, what other people think, what other people do, you don't have any control over that. So just do your best, and God will do the rest.
Period. And I think too, like, just those affirmations that like people tell themselves, like, I'm smart, like I'm kind, I'm the baddest drink to walk into the room. You know, like those type of things. Like, you know, like Sean has a big heart, like she's super caring. Like, you can go off of like your talents, your abilities, like your attributions to this world. Those are the very key things that make you beautiful. Physically, like, sure, like, you know, she got this bone structure that go off, you know, every angle on the camera be. But it's just like, you know, what else about you? You know what I mean? Like, you have to build on that. Like, a pretty face, it's not just gonna get you anywhere you want it to go. It's not gonna unlock all the doors.
Because a lot of people feel like that's what gets you jobs, and that's like how you get booked, is like just being a pretty face. But like, no, it's more than that. It's like, what's your work ethic like? How are you around people on set? Are you personable? You know, are you respectful? Are you on time? Like, all these other factors play a role into it. Yeah, on time. All these other factors play a role into, you know, how you present yourself. It's just not a surface level thing.
Girl, even when it comes to the attitudes, we know the greatest. Those people who have a tough demeanor sometimes, and like, you know, those type of things may at some times you know, push people away. Whereas if you go in with that bubbly personality, if you go in, you know, more confident with like who you are, but not in like a I'm better than you type of ordeal, like you're going
being
in
humble, having manners, you know, being polite, like speaking to everybody from like other models to like production staff, like, because you never know, like, you never know who's around. So
Sean, you already accomplished so much. What do you look forward to next, whether that's modeling, mentoring, or expanding your impact?
I look forward to just more opportunities. In the grand scheme of things, I'm still pretty young, so I'm looking forward to like what comes my way. I have a few things like in the works right now, so I'm just excited. Like the more time goes on, more opportunities arise. So I'm just, you know, taking it day by day, looking forward to whatever comes next. I will say, like, people hit me up like for advice all the time, and I give it, but I think that's the most that, like, you know, if you have a question, like if you're in my network or like we're mutuals or something, like I've done that a few times. I've even helped girls like with their comp cards or like putting their portfolios together. I got here in a very pay it forward way, so I want to do that for other people who like feel like, you know, this is something they want to do. I like to answer questions, give people clarity, or like at least point them in the right direction, because I feel like a lot of the times, like with this industry, there's a lot of gatekeeping and like, you know, exclusivity and stuff. But I got to this point by other people in the industry who looked back and wanted to pull me along as well, because I have the drive, I have the hunger, I have the talent, I have the looks. So I, you know, in some capacity, I like to do that for other people as well.
Love that. Thank you so much, Sean, for sharing your journey with us, from rejection to redirection, from confidence to true purpose. Your story has been truly amazing to listen to be able to watch. I love watching you grow. I love watching your next move. I love all of your social media interactions. And just, you know, being able to see you just like bask in your light. You know, I think just with us knowing each other, I think that's always something that I've wanted to see from you, and I feel like you get closer and closer to that every day. So I love the fact that you shared your journey with us today. To everybody watching, keep walking in faith, trust your process, and know that beauty starts within. As always, you guys can rely on I, but most importantly, rely on God. I'll see you guys in our next video. Woo! In my next video.
God, I need saving. No, I ain't complaining now. I surrender it all to you. I do this, I'm serving, trust you with my purpose. I can do all things